Hello. So that video cut out and I'm trying to start it again because I don't think I got to save it at all or anything. But what I was trying to talk about, and now this is like the third take of this video, so I'm actually going to do just shorter. You need to acknowledge the sacred feminine throughout. Be preparing, because I think the sacred masculine is coming, okay? I really think the sacred masculine is coming. I was listening to one of my favorite songs this morning, But Who May Abide the Day of His Coming, by Patty Austin, or at least that's she was singing it. And I was thinking about how our society, which claims to have been founded on Christian principles, really wasn't, because the founding fathers would have feared Jesus Christ. So they absolutely feared Mary Magdalene. And take these as representations of the masculine and feminine, take them however you will. I'm working within this Christian framework because that's what a lot of us have deep in our mindsets in this country. Whether or not those are our personal beliefs or our personal practices, they do shape us, and they were, deeply involved with our ancestors, and so it shapes just those memories that we have internally. And I was really thinking, how can you abide? How can you stand before that refining fire, that sacred masculine in yourself, that literal sun in yourself, if you have not been able to look at the moon in yourself, if you have not been able to honor the pain, the desire, the sexuality, the creativity within yourself? In Gnostic texts and in, I think, like Judeo-Christian religions in general, and I'm trying to keep this short and not butcher it because I haven't rechecked a lot of these notes of mine in a long time, except for some this morning. But the Sophia is wisdom, right? Sophia is wisdom, or in like Judaism, Shekinah is the divine feminine counterpart of God, that piece of God. These pieces are wisdom. These pieces are living. These pieces are us. They're within everything. So the feminine being the unseen, the feminine being inspiration, the feminine being dreams, being spirit, being ancestral voices. Society, this society has stomped it down. And on top of that, it's really made religion something deeply whitewashed and patriarchal. Not that it didn't kind of start that way before it came here to the States. And so it's simply not true. And I want to talk about that for 1 second, because the foundational blocks of this society are perverted. So, one, learn to start looking at non-canonical texts, okay? The Nag Hammadi texts are like collections of different scrolls, and they contribute to a lot of our knowledge about the Gnostic Gospels, but there are some key parts in here. So, one, I wanted to talk about wholeness, like I mentioned that briefly, alchemical marriage, wholeness. So, Jesus and Mary Magdalene are considered ascended masters. They're considered twin flames. That means they are the masculine and feminine of one whole being. Each of us, regardless of our gender, our presentation, whatever, each of us has those energies within us, masculine and feminine, to some degree. I have a lot of both. So we all have the potential for both of these things to be actualized, realized, working, and united together. As a society, we have that potential because everything is a reflection of, itself. So society is a reflection of us. Our households are a reflection of us. So we all have this potential. In our minds, I would say, deeply embedded in our collective unconscious, is the perversion of this potential, which is that sexuality is bad, money is bad, but also those that have what we consider virtues are good and untouchable, right? So Mary, Jesus' mom, the church, she has no sexuality. She's all loving, but she has no sexuality. She's just pure mother energy, which is stupid because moms create, right? Mary Magdalene, who is Jesus' favorite disciple, gets literally lied about, made into a prostitute, and then later they quietly cover that up, and they're like, no, she's not a prostitute. Here she has her own feast day. So even the church representation of women, and I shouldn't say even, it's not surprising, but the church representation of women is very much shunning them. It's shunning them, right? We don't want sexuality. We don't want your creativity. We want to defeat death. The problem is, none of these people have actually defeated death. One, you can't. Death is coming for all of us. And that's okay. It's a change. It's a shift. When you decide that stuff is not going to die, that it's going to be unending, that is acting against nature. That is untrue. That is not going to work. You really, really, really need to be allowing for flow. Our whole foundational system was built on not having flow, on cutting out the woman entirely, on cutting out the feminine entirely. And in doing so, we also happened to end up neutering the sacred masculine. We made it so that the masculine had no room for birth and destruction either. We made it so the masculine was war and not dance, okay? That men's job was to have conquests of women, not to be participating in creation. We've really reduced each other and these energies into almost nothing. And in doing so, we reduce our own internal divinity to nothing. And we've spent so much time as a race noting how much other stuff is as the human race. The moon is so other. Spirits are so other. Everything is so other. So much so that when spirit is awake within us, feminine, masculine, the whole deal, when it's awake within us moving, we consider it other. We don't even know how to recognize it. So going forward, as the world is changing, start learning to recognize. Look for the feminine. I got this little hole right here. It just happened. I'm so mad. But start looking for the feminine. Really acknowledge your creativity. Acknowledge your needs and desires to create and release. Acknowledge your shadow. Start talking to your shadow. Start learning about all the different goddesses you can learn about, and feminine energies you can learn about. Paint your nails, wear your hair differently, buy some different earrings, wear some lipstick. However you present, throw some extra feminine in there somewhere and get in touch with feminine energy. Cry when you need to cry. And then also listen for inspiration, because the feminine likes to birth. So when we release these ideals about the feminine and release these ideals about the divine, we're also releasing them about ourselves. And there's room to create. And that's where the sacred masculine comes in, is with that creation, right? So, yeah, I'm sorry. This is like the third take, so it's not exactly what I had in my mind initially. But yeah, in order to be able to abide the day of his coming within yourself, that masculine within yourself, and really step up and answer the call of what it is you're creating together with yourself, you have to look at the feminine. So yeah, as usual, examine your shadow, check your perspective, drink lots and lots and lots and lots of water, and honor your ancestors. Ancestral veneration is a must. We do not skip that in this house anymore at all, ever. So, All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for checking in for this morning's morning word. Oh, shit. Man, oh well. I missed a part, but I've done this 3 times now. Suffice it to say, Mary Magdalene is that bitch. Lilith is that bitch. Jesus, Yeshua is really that motherfucker, bro. Like, they are really about it in the ways that we have perverted all of our ascended masters' faces, our deities' faces and names. Is just, it's so silly to me. The human desire for stagnant power is so silly. It does not last. Anyway, I love you guys. That's really it this time. Bye.